Coming up tonight on This Week in Carrington Sports, after making the state tournament in 2025, Brady Smith and Cardinal Softball opened the 2026 season in Jamestown, facing two teams that were also at the state tournament last year. We've got the highlights. Plus, tonight, our spring preview edition of the program. We'll talk to track and field head coach April Hoggarth, softball head coach Brady Smith, and baseball head coach Wayne Shipman. All of that and more coming up tonight on This Week in Carrington Sports.
Hi, this is James at Bassett Motors. Let's test drive a new Chevrolet together. Stack up the savings with discounts and rebates combined with 0% financing for the lowest payments of the year. See us online at BassettMotors.com or call us 701-652-2955. Or better yet, stop in and see our wide selection of new and pre-owned vehicles.
Where our customers send their friends.
Brady Smith and Cardinal Softball in action opening the 2026 season at the Nelson Family Bubble in Jamestown, taking on Mayport CG and Hillsborough Central Valley. The first pitch to Brenna Wolski is laced into center field, a base hit. Scoring is Trostad, scoring is Hewitt. And how about that for a first varsity at bat? A 2 RBI single for Brenna Wolski, and the Cardinals lead 2-0. Now the pitch, swing and a miss. Runner bluffs, and now Ella Volk has her between first and second. The throw to second, the tag, she's out. And it's a double play that ends the inning. The pitch to Trostad is hit on the ground past the circle. That will allow a run to score. The throw to first is in time by Thomas. Coming in to score is Knudsen on the RBI ground out. It is 3-0 Cardinals. Now the 1-2 to Linderman. Runner at third, one out. And it's lined the other way. That is down, a base hit. Cambry Linderman's first varsity hit scores Aubrey Nice. It's a run-scoring double, and the Cardinals lead 4-0 here in the fourth. How about that from Cambry Linderman? The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three. Hewitt gets the punch out, and there's two down. The 3-1 is lined to Mara Coots, and she reaches up and makes the catch. The side is retired. But Zerfus, a 1-1 count. The pitch. Hit in the air to center. Back is Nice, nearing the wall, and it bounces over the wall. It's a ground rule 2-run double, and it's 6-4. Mayport CG as Ver West and Kritzberger both score. Here's a 2-1. Hit in the air to short, reaching up and making the catch is Thomas, and the ball game is over. The pitch. Strike three called over the outside corner. 2 called third strikes to get Brenna Wolski's high school career going as a pitcher. Here's a 1-0, and that's line caught by Chenault, and the side is retired. The 1-1 is grounded back to Wolski. She'll throw to second and get the lead runner, 1-6. There's 2 down. Nothing into the count, and here it is. Lined into right center field. Trostad's got extra bases. She's around first. Going to second. She's around second and heading to third with her first career triple. Hewitt struck out in her first at bat. She rips one into left center field. That will go to the fence. Trostad is home. Hewitt around second, heading to third. Back-to-back triples, and it's 3-1. First pitch is blasted to right center field, and that will go all the way to the fence. Coming around third, Linderman. She will score. Coots into third with a run-scoring triple, and the Cardinals are within a run. It is now 3-2 as Mara Coots smacks a ringing triple into right center field. Trostad a sac bunt and a triple. She lifts one to shallow right. It's down. It's a base hit. The game is tied on the RBI single by Kennedy Trostad. The pitch. Nice. Takes high. Ness goes. The throw is to third and down the left field line. Wolski will score on an unnecessary throw. It's 7-4. And Hewitt rips it into right center field. That's a base hit to start the seventh. Callie with her second hit of the game. And the Cardinals have a leadoff runner on for Ella Volk, and she grounds one to short. Flip it to second for one. Back to first. In time, double play. And the ball game is over.
Cardinal Softball opened the home schedule on Thursday, weather permitting, hosting the Velva Aggies with coverage beginning on KDAK The Cardinal and on YouTube at 4:15.
When you're thinking about insurance, think of Bickett Insurance. Bickett Insurance, through our partnership with Auto Owners Insurance, can take care of your farm, home, auto, business, or life insurance needs. The agents at Bickett Insurance have over 115 years of insurance experience. We know how to design policies to protect the things important to you. Give Bickett Insurance a call today.
Better get Bickett. Bickett Insurance Agency. Better get Bickett. Bickett Insurance Agency.
It was a state tournament appearance, the first in program history in 2025, and now Cardinal Softball getting ready for their 2026 season. Head coach Brady Smith is joining us. Let's start with really good news. There's always going to be an impact when you make a state tournament. Typically it comes in participation, and that is no different here.
Yeah, this year we're hitting a high since I've started coaching. Right now we're at like 26, 27 girls, which, like I said, is the most I've had since I started coaching, and that's awesome to see. It means we're moving the program in the right direction.
And they're young girls too. You're going to be able to field basically a junior high team, which, look, when these sophomores and juniors graduate, that's the next crop.
Yep, exactly. That's the foundation, and it's our goal to build them up and be the best ball player that they can be by the time that they're a senior in high school. So, yeah, right now I think we have, it's either 10 or 11 7th and 8th graders on our projection or interest list right now. So I'm kind of looking forward to see what talent they're going to bring to the table for us.
We can talk about the future at a later time, and we will, but the here and now, you get to a state tournament and you return your pitcher, catcher who had to play half the games, third baseman, shortstop, outfield. There are pieces that are back that have you guys very excited.
Yeah, a lot of the girls that I still have right now, they've been with me since my first day, so it's been fun to see them grow and build over the last 4 years now, which is hard to say, it's been 4 years already, but yeah, going into this year, 3 seniors, Lauren Hendrickson, Bailey Ness, and Aubrey Nice. Really looking forward to see what they can do and how they're going to take that next step from being a junior to a senior now this year. And of course, Mara Coots, Callie Hewitt, just what they can do offensively and defensively has been a lot of fun to watch over the last few years as well, and just looking forward to seeing how well they can take that next step forward too. Some younger talent too, like our sophomore group. That's another bigger class that we're going to have. Younger girls, like Kennedy Trostad, Ella Volk. Also looking at, Brenna Wolski, Cambry Linderman, Gemma English, girls like that. Brooklyn Knutson. It's like there's a long list of those girls that I could, talk about. But yeah, just looking forward to some of these younger girls taking that big step forward and playing a key part in a varsity role.
And for some, their roles are greater this year. One of the, I guess, hidden positives last year is that Isabel Wendell was an all-state track and field athlete. And because of that, Ella Volk got a lot of time. With her getting a lot of time behind the plate, that meant that Kennedy Trostad played a lot of second base. So the amount that you have to fill in is a little less than typically when you graduate a nice class.
Right. With Isabel, being gone for, most of the games, honestly, last year, it's not going to be anything new to those girls that you just mentioned. So, I don't think I'm going to see much for wide eyes when it comes to our first game. They're really familiar with the positions that they've played. But they might be asked to play different positions as well throughout the year. I guess we'll kind of see how that goes. But yeah, a lot of the younger girls that are going to be having key roles, they're not, like I said, they're not new to their position. So, like I said too, I'm just looking forward to see how they can build off of their potential from last year and progress into this year.
So a couple of places that you have to find new players for. You're going to have to shuffle the outfield a little bit. Cadence graduates, and at first base, Bryn graduates. She wasn't even a first baseman by trade, but she turned into a great player. What are some of your thoughts with those positions?
I think right now at first base, I'm leaning towards Brooklyn Knutson. She's pretty tall, bigger for her size, athletic, got a big wingspan on her, a good arm too. So I'm kind of looking at her at first base and also somewhere in the outfield too. So I'll kind of maybe bounce back and forth between Aubrey and Brooklyn at first base. We'll kind of see how that plays. But right now I'm also thinking Bailey Ness will be in left, and then we'll kind of play it out in right field right now. It'll be kind of that last competitive spot.
Your offense has 14 home runs returning. That's a crazy number in today's, softball, where the circle's been moved back, and yes, offense is higher, but at the high school level, it's still some small ball. How does the big ball nature of your team play? It certainly did in the postseason last year.
Yeah, so we hit 14 home runs all year, and I think 7 of those came in between state and regionals. So half of our home runs were hit in the last few weeks of the season, which is what you kind of want to ask of the girls in big time moments like that. So, but we do lose. We gain some power back, and we also lose some power from last year. So, I'm looking to hopefully play a little more small ball this year, and executing some bunts and situational stuff like that. But, I'm not going to complain about hitting home runs and doubles either. So if we have the girls capable of doing that, I'm not going to complain.
Callie Hewitt has been your starting pitcher pretty much from day one when you took this job. What is the next step for her as a pitcher?
It's, when you play more games, you get more consistent. You kind of get a rhythm of, how things are going. So, overall consistency, that's not just her, but just girls in general, right? And also developing some off speed too, and being more competitive with their changeup, stuff like that. So, especially when you play those teams that are state caliber teams, you need to be able to have multiple pitches and throw them competitively too, right? So, pounding the strike zone is going to be huge, and limiting free bases.
The schedule, oh my goodness, this is such a good schedule. You've got Mayport on there a bunch of times. You've got Hillsborough Central Valley on there twice. Thompson is probably out for a little blood this year, figuratively, not literally. This is a schedule that will certainly get you ready if you're able to get back to a state tournament.
Yep, that's probably the most competitive schedule that we've had, again, since I started coaching. I don't know if you saw the Midseason Madness tournament schedule as well, but there's some Class A schools in there with us and some of those higher tier Class B teams. So we definitely have our work cut out for us this year, but like you just said, that's what's going to propel us at the end of the season and get us playing our best ball is against those state caliber teams.
Before we get to the region, a big picture sort of question. We see Region 1 adding a lot of softball teams. Lemoore, Litchfield, Marion, Edgeley is going to have one. Valley City is going to have one. Sargent County, Oaks. This is good for the sport.
It is. I think we kind of talked about that last year too. I can't remember the exact number, but I think it went from like 36 to 42 teams, and I'm sure it's going to be somewhere in the 50s now this year. So it's definitely a growing sport in the state of North Dakota, which is awesome to see. It kind of gives girls another opportunity to play another sport besides, just track or, the other sports that they can play as well. So it gives them another chance to be successful in a different sport.
Let's talk about the region, because for 3 years it has been Carrington, Thompson, Mayport, CG, and you've had to fight your way through and kick the door down a little bit. That was a nice senior class the Patriots lost, but they still have Keenan Konchak as their coach. He's still going to get the most out of them he possibly can. You've got a Thompson team with a lot of returning players from a team that was shocked to not make the state tournament. How do you dissect this region?
It's going to be very similar to last year. You know, it's going to be a dogfight every single time you play a region game. Honestly, at the point where some of those teams, it's going to be a lot of 50-50 games, honestly. You can even throw Nelson County in there. I assume they're going to be much better this year. We actually didn't even face their best pitcher last year. So kind of looking forward to seeing how they're going to progress. Midway Mintos played us well every single time we played them too. Yeah, like you said, the dogs of the region, Thompson and Mayville, you know exactly what you're going to get out of them. They've had great programs for a long, long time, and yeah, it's going to be a dogfight. We know what to expect out of them now. They know what to expect out of us. But it's going to be important at the end of the year, winning those 50-50 games as far as seeding goes. So, if you can win those region games, those are huge.
Is there a mentality change now within the program? You've been chasing it. You finally got to the state tournament last year. Does there have to be a mentality of taking on all comers now?
I think it changes as far as, what can we do better to get ourselves a little bit further than last year, but at the same time, having the same mentality as last year, knowing that if you do and take care of your job, kind of what we did throughout, especially at the end of the year, that you are capable of getting to that state tournament. But it's what can we learn from the mistakes that we made at the state tournament to take another step further and, maybe win a game or two at the state tournament or get all the way to the championship game. You never know. So that's why it's important to, that's why not only important, but just excited for myself just to see how these girls are going to progress from last year to this year and take that big leap forward.
So last question for you. What are your goals for the 2026 Carrington Cardinals?
Well, I want to finish with one overall, a winning record, and it would be nice to, get ourselves back into contention to, go back to the state tournament. But my overall goal is, especially with the amount of girls that we have, and a lot of them being younger, is that you have to, if you want anything for the future, you have to develop, and that's going to be probably the number one thing I'm looking forward to doing is working with a lot of those younger girls and developing them so that they can be at their best potential. Not only at the end of this year, but in the future to come.
The Cardinals will have opened their season already by the time this airs, but they will have the home opener on April 2nd against Belva, a great home schedule as well. And you can check our schedule of games on the KDAK 1600 Carrington Facebook page.
Life is about moments, big or small, joyful or challenging. At Carrington Health Center, we believe everyone in our community deserves compassionate care close to home, so you can focus on enjoying those moments surrounded by the people you love. At our facility, we put the care in
physical therapy,
Radiology.
Love. Acute care. Clinic.
It was a very successful 2025 spring in her first year for track and field head coach April Hoggarth, and now year 2 begins here in 2026. All right, so the first question that we have to ask is, are you more comfortable now having done it before?
Yes, a lot less stress going into this season, kind of at least have everything somewhat under control a little bit, or at least I feel like I'm more in control than last year. Just having that year under my belt has been kind of a blessing going into this one.
How much did the cross-country season help you as a coach prepare for what's about to happen?
Having a lot of the same kids for both sports has helped. Cross country, you only have those distance kids. So track, we have our throwers, we have our jumpers, we have sprinters. So there's no way to really prepare for that going into it as far as cross country goes. But just kind of seeing them, even switching places within our roster through cross country, kind of gets me excited about where they're going to land in track and see how they're going to do then.
All right, so let's talk about your team on the whole. Let's start with the very elementary question to ask. How are the numbers coming into this year?
Numbers are really good. This year, I actually ended up having almost 10 kids join after like a day or two into the season. So people are kind of convincing their friends to come out, which is nice for us because then we just get more talent on our team, and that kind of helps us there.
And it's the perfect sport to do that with because there's so many different things you can do. There's so many different things you could be talented at. It might not be short distance. It might be long distance. It might be throwing. It might be a whole host of things. So there's different talents for different people.
Yeah, it's really a sport for everyone. And I mean, I know even like I talked to a couple kids that I want out and I'm like, okay, you see that you need to improve this in basketball. You want to jump higher. Hey, join high jump. We can help you jump higher. Things like that. It's just a sport that's going to benefit any other sport that they're in. So that kind of helps with the numbers going into this season.
I heard that dunks are coming next year. That's what I just heard for the boys. Nonetheless.
Bring it on. I think they got it.
Who are and what are some of the individual events, and who are the individuals that you think could have a big year in the offseason? I know Peyton Harrington signed to run at Bismarck State. He's got to be top of the list.
Yep. I mean, for our boys, we have a lot of our boy placers even from regions and state coming back, which is really nice. You have a good base going into the season there. So, I mean, we have him, we have his brother Paxton, McCade. They're kind of our top three sprinters there. They were in all of the relays that kind of went to state, the ones that placed at regions. So we do need to replace one there, but we have a couple that we're looking at, and I think it'll be good as far as that goes. Andrew Matt, I mean, he was a region champ in shot put and discus last year. He did have that shoulder injury, so we'll kind of see how the season goes. He's going to take it easy, not do indoor season, and then hopefully jump in once we get outdoors. So I'm excited. I mean, he is ready. Like, you talk to him and he is ready to throw. So as long as his body is able to, we're going to get him out there.
And for the girls?
Girls-wise, I'm really excited about Maya Nice. She has a very good potential to be region champ in both the 100 hurdles as well as long jump. So that is a good one. Mara Coots kind of got gypped last year with our weather at regions, so she wasn't able to compete at regions, and she also wasn't able to compete at state. So that kind of hurt her, but I'm excited this year. She should be able to compete at regions, qualify for state, do well there as well. I'm trying to think of who else. I mean, I have so many to name that it's hard, but trying to keep it to like those top ones. Molly Hansen as well. She ended up third in shot put. So the two people ahead of her were seniors, so we could get her up to that top place, top 1, 2 with Mara in there. So yeah, lots to look forward to.
And you don't just replace Ryder Bickett. We all know that. You don't just have another kid that can throw the javelin 60 million miles. But the fact that he was that good, it probably brought kids to want to try to throw the javelin.
Yeah, you know, in general, our javelin has always been a small group. So we're seeing a little bit more interest this year. You'll see Mara Johnson on the girls' side. She's throwing javelin. She's done it in the past, took last year off, and she's excited to kind of get into that. And she has a lot of really good potential as well. So.
Now, the schedule, by the time this airs, you will have already had a couple of indoor meets, one at UND, one at NDSU. What does the rest of the schedule look like? There's a couple of Saturday Mondays, which are big physical challenges for your team.
Yeah, I mean, our schedule is pretty similar to what it's been in the past. The Saturday Mondays or even the Friday Saturdays that we have kind of just is to prepare them for state. So at state, they have to compete 3 days in a row. This is kind of just our way to stimulate that.
What specific events do you guys really look forward to on the schedule?
Oh goodness, rugby is always a good one. We have rugby there, we have Hillsborough there, lots of good challenging teams to compete against. So that's probably my favorite one going into this year.
And you guys have the home meet again this year as well, which is always so well attended. People love track and field here. What are your goals for each team this year? Let's start with the boys.
As far as boys, I mean, like I said, we have that good base group. I'd like to see some more distance being shown, especially in placing at regions, which is something that we've just always been low in numbers for, but we have Chase and Gavin Stedman. I'm excited to kind of see how they end up placing at regions. So getting some points in there, I truly think, let me think. Last year, our boys ended up in 3rd at regions. I'd like to see them higher. We even get into that 2nd, possibly 1st, which is a big ask, but I mean, these boys, they came into our preseason meeting and they're like, let's get this done. So they are pretty motivated. So as long as we can kind of keep them on track, get them the events that they need to in order to succeed, I think we could see them right up in there.
And what about for the girls? This is a very powerful girls program every year.
Oh, yes. So, I mean, our girls, we're always excited about them. Ending last year with regions, at least, we got first by, I think it was 56 points. That being said, 70 of those points were from our event champions, and all of those were seniors last year. So kind of going into our preseason meeting, I'm like, I don't want to scare you, but we also need to realize we lost a lot of points. And in order for us to get back to that first place, which I fully intend to do, that is just something that we need to keep in mind, keep each other motivated, push each other even when we don't want to be out there on a cold day like today.
Well, Coach, good luck this year. Of course, we'll have highlights throughout the season, results throughout the season, and go get them.
Thank you.
Cardinal Track and Field was at the NDSU indoor event on Saturday, and for the boys team, they finished 9th as a team. Peyton Harrington was busy. He was 2nd in the 60 meters at 7.31 seconds. Also runner-up at 200 meters, 23.94, and 4th in the 400 meters, 54.87. Paxton Harrington in the 200 was 10th, and Crew Wolski was 8th in the 400. In the shot put, Jacob Heinrichs in the top 10, and in the pole vault, Crew Wolski and Sam Garr in the top 10. The Cardinal girls finished 5th as a team. The shot put leader was Mara Coots in 3rd place, and in long jump, Maya Nice was 3rd. The 4x800 team finished 5th. That's Grace English, Joey Helseth, Macy Fieberger, and Mara Johnson. The 4x200 was 2nd. Maya Nice, Jordan Coleman, Aniston Hornet, and Harper Coleman. Also a 4th place finish in the 1600 for Macy Fieberger, but the highlight, the 4x400 girls won the event. Mara Johnson, Aniston Hornet, Jordan Coleman, and Harper Coleman. That concludes the indoor portion of the season. Carrington are next in action at Hazen.
The fun is always on tap. I'm heading to Headlocks. Headlocks. Headlocks.
Head on over to Headlocks of Carrington for some great deals after the Cardinals game. If you and your friends come in sporting any Cardinals gear, you'll not only receive the friendliest service around, but also special discounts. Ask for more details and visit us on Facebook for all of our happenings.
The fun is always on tap. I'm heading to Headlocks. Headlocks. Headlocks.
Headlocks, Carrington, North Dakota.
Well, at the end of the 2025 high school baseball season, Carrington head coach Wayne Shipman announced his retirement. So it will come as a big surprise to all of you that I'm joined by the coach of the 2026 team. And he looks a lot like Wayne Shipman because he is Wayne Shipman, who is back. All right, so let's start there. How did all of this come about? You were done with it.
Yeah, I guess in the end of October, they called me up and asked me if I'd reconsider. Evidently, they were having a hard time finding someone to come in and do it, so I guess I decided I'd give it another shot.
In talking to your guys about the time school started, they said, we want to have Coach Shipman back, especially those older guys, your 3 seniors. This group has gotten used to you, and I guess in a way it makes this year a little easier.
Yeah, that was probably the harder part about just deciding to retire from it, was the always your older guys, seniors, juniors probably, you like to stick with them the last year. Well, that philosophy, you're always going to have seniors and juniors coming, so sometime you just got to decide to pull the plug, and I decided, and I guess I'm back now.
And you are. And last year's team, it was such a different year because you graduate a really nice senior class from 2024. Last year you had younger guys, some of them playing their first varsity innings. Looking back on it, you saw a lot of improvement throughout the course of the year.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, when you have a young team, that's what you hope. You see a lot of improvement. You hope to see improvement with every team, but when they're younger, you're probably going to see a lot more improvement over. But I think we played 20 games, so over those 20 games, we improved quite a bit. Hopefully, it'll carry on to this year, and we can continue to improve and be very competitive come tournament time.
It's always the popular topic at a school of this size, but how is turnout this year?
This might be the most kids we've had out for baseball since I've been doing it.
All right.
I mean, I think there's 23 kids out right now. Majority of underclassmen, 7, 8, 9. I think 3 seniors, 2 juniors, I believe it is, and then 2 sophomores. So what's that? 3 and 4, 7. So whatever the math is.
Yeah, that's a lot of young guys.
Underclassmen. Some of them got experience last year, like Isaiah Otis, James Rao. I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but those 2 that I can remember off the top of my head were 7th and 8th graders last year, and they played in games and got better every single game. So we're kind of hoping they can improve upon that. We have some pitching back. Actually, the only pitcher, well, both Ethan and Josh both pitched last year, I guess. So we lost 2 pitchers. Tate, Max, and Jacob, 3 seniors. They threw the ball pretty well last year, at least gave us a chance in the games, and hopefully they can do the same. If we play better defense, we should be able to be in every game we play.
You look at that, and there's always going to be a leadership role for seniors, but for these 3 guys, these are your top 3 guys in the rotation. Maybe Talon Maring sneaks his way in there by the end of the year, but you're going to be relying on these 3 seniors to lead your lineup, lead your pitching staff, and lead a young ball club.
Right. Yeah, those top guys there are going to have to, carry the weight on pitching, defense, hitting, everything like that for us to have a successful season, or as good a season as we can have. And I think they'll be able to do so. I mean, Jameson Coots, he's bigger and stronger now. I think that he's going to hit the ball pretty well, and he plays good first base. Talon Maring will have to play, some infield, some outfield, just be kind of a utility guy, so to speak. And then he'll also pitch. Hopefully Isaiah Otis can develop into being able to catch some games so that Max isn't back there every game. And Max is such a good athlete that, if he can put him, having a good catcher is awesome, but sometimes we might need to put him in the field when Tate or somebody's got a pitch or whatever. So we'll see. I guess we've only been here a week, so we'll see what comes of everything.
Before we even get into the schedule, fingers crossed we can play some home games this year. That was really tough on the guys, especially the seniors last year, never playing a home game during the school year. But looking at the schedule, you've got a couple of jamboree type things at home, and the region adds Valley City. In adding Valley City, what is this region getting in your opinion?
I guess I don't know a lot about Valley City. I'm assuming they're probably a pretty solid club just based on the size of school they are. So, that'll be a tough game probably, and that's who we start with. So I guess we'll find out right off the bat. A week from Thursday, weather permitting, of course, and the field's dry and all that. And after that, speaking of the home games, we have quite a few home games this year. We honestly played 0 last year. I think the year before we played 1, maybe 2, and the year before that was the same. We've played like 3, maybe 4 home games in the last 3 years. So anybody who said they would come here and play, I said sure, because we haven't had home games for 3 years. So we'd like to play at home this year or something.
And the way the schedule is made up, your first 2 are on the road, your last 3 are on the road. Everything else is a home game, so it's kind of cool with that.
Yeah,
as well.
That'll be all right. I guess we won't have to. We'll ride the bus a little bit, and then we won't. And then at the end of the year, hopefully we're riding it plenty until we get to Jamestown.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And obviously, to get to Jamestown, last year this region kind of went through Lemoore, Litchville, Marion, Edgeley. What do you sort of see with the region this year? Is it that same story?
Yeah, I would say Lemoore's, Litchville, Marion's going to be pretty solid. I mean, they got quite a bit back from last year, so they'll be really good. Valley, I'm assuming, is pretty good. New Rockford's solid. So it's not going to be nothing easy. Well, it won't be easy for us. We're going to have to play good every game, get solid pitching and good defense, and we'll have a chance.
Now the $1 million question that everyone in Class B wants to know. Is this finally the year Thompson doesn't win it?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I haven't really looked at a roster or anything, see what they have back. But, odds are that somebody else might win this year. Yeah.
4 straight.
And
It's
we aren't playing them this year, I guess, because we decided to have a home event here with 2 other teams versus going to Park River or Thompson.
Yeah.
So, hopefully down the road we can do those kinds of things now with our field. It drains well. It's actually pretty good shape right now. Just the frost isn't out, so the infield has water on it. I walked around the outfield. That's in pretty good shape. It's still a little soft, so I don't want to go out there and cause it any problems. But from here on out, hopefully things are a lot better with the field draining and drying out a lot faster in the springs.
Head coach Wayne Shipman and the Cardinals open Thursday at Valley City, weather permitting. If it happens Thursday, you'll be able to hear it on KOVC, the voice of the Valley, and KOVC Live on YouTube.
Nothing has embodied the American spirit like the family farmer. Year after year, they continue to work the land and plant their crops. Through droughts, floods, and uncertain markets, they keep that spirit alive with another crop harvested for the next generation. And for that, we tip our hats to them. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
In Carrington, see Randy Hui.
Not a hugely busy week, but the home opener for Brady Smith and Cardinal Softball is on Thursday against a pretty good Velva team as the Cardinal Softball team continues to face opponents that were in the state tournament a season ago. That's at 4:15 Thursday on KDAK, the Cardinal, and on YouTube. And at that same time, Cardinal Baseball opens its 2026 season on the road at the Valley City Highliners. You can catch it on the radio on our sister station KOVC and on KOVC Live on YouTube. That also at 4:15 on Thursday. And we will have highlights of that plus a whole lot more on the next edition of This Week in Carrington Sports.